Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Pyromancer here, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. And I hope that if you watch my last video, you understand that it is a skit. I just wanted to point out at the forefront of this video here that if you guys have seen my video, if you haven't, you should definitely go check it out. There'll be a link to that in the description below. My last video is a Lovecraftian horror skit. It's something completely new for me. I've never done it before. It is entirely improvised, the camera work, the lines, everything. I honestly just wanted to try something new and see how you guys liked it. With that being said, today I want to talk to you guys about Sylvanas Windrunner and what I think she's doing, because it has become very apparent, and I'm not the only one seeing this at this point, that Sylvanas has some kind of ulterior motive, right? She has this goal that is separate from what's happening with the Horde. And I want to talk about the new cinematic with Saurfang and how I believe that ties in with Sylvanas' ultimate goal. So let's jump into that. So the first thing that people can assert about Sylvanas is that she's kind of doing some things that are tearing the Horde apart. And I want to challenge that, because I don't believe that. I think that based on what we've seen, it's pretty obvious to me that everything Sylvanas has done has only strengthened the Horde and brought the other leaders of the Horde closer together. I think that's pretty clear. And all Sylvanas has done is ripped apart her relationship with the Horde. Sylvanas is basically using herself as a scapegoat in this situation, or as I guess as bait, really, to get this whole war and all of this to happen. But you might be asking yourself, well, why the fuck would Sylvanas want to do that? Oh, because she's an evil bitch, obviously, and she's Garrosh 2.0. No. Stop that. Sylvanas is not Garrosh 2.0. Blizzard has already said they are not going to pull a Garrosh type situation with Sylvanas. In these similarities that people have tried to draw between Garrosh and Sylvanas are pretty fucking weak in the grand scheme of things. And pretty unsubstantial, if you ask me. That's why they said at BlizzCon this last year that Sylvanas would consider Garrosh an amateur, and Garrosh is an amateur. I mean, we're talking about Sylvanas Windrunner here, ex-Ranger General of Silvermoon, several century-year-old elf who, according to books, thinks like a ravenous predator and is cunning, calculated, and very precise in her thinking. I mean, Before the Storm, the most recent Warcraft novel, details how when she touched Azeroth, it wasn't her usual clever, calculated, cunning thoughts. That is to say that Sylvanas Windrunner is normally very fucking, has a very strong aptitude for this kind of tactical strategy that she's taken on at this point. I think that's pretty fair and clear. Sylvanas is not like Garrosh. Garrosh is pretty cunning, very powerful, but very brazen, and not very patient. Sylvanas is definitely very patient. But enough. What makes me say that Sylvanas is doing this, and what makes me think that Sylvanas is perhaps even intentionally drawing the Horde together? Well, there's a couple things. The first thing that we need to read is this dialogue from an NPC in the Mists of Pandaria expansion. And this is actually from a Rathian questline, which was removed entirely from the game. And in this questline, you have some dialogue between Rathian and Tong. And what Tong says to Rathian is very, very important. Rathian is upset about Varian Wrynn and his failure to dismantle the Horde at the end of the Siege of Orgrimmar scenario. And Tong has some choice words for Rathian. This is what he says.
Always do you speak, never do you listen. You ignore the lessons of Pandaria. You see, there is balance in all things. Wisdom etched in our very fur. Black and white. Darkness and the light. When the last emperor hid our land from the rest of the world, he also preserved the homeland of our ancient enemy, the Mantid. Why did he do this? He did so to keep the land whole. Living with the Mantid for 10,000 years has made us both strong. So it is with your alliance and your Horde. They are not strong despite one another. They are strong because of one another. You mistake your greatest strength for weakness. Do you see this?
And I try not to turn into a fucking Draenei as I do that voice. I don't know what it is, but I always trail in a Draenei. But what Tong is saying here is that there is a balance in all things, even in war. And the Alliance and the Horde fighting one another make each other stronger. What do you suppose would have happened to the humans or the orcs or what have you had the Burning Legion and these other forces not essentially kept us eternally in conflict with one another? I mean, the fight between the Alliance and the Horde, you have these fleeting moments of peace for nothing. It always descends back into war and chaos. But it's very important that we recognize that this fighting, just like the Pandaren and the Mantid, makes us stronger. It's very crucial. Because from the very first cinematic of Battle for Azeroth, the precedent has been set that Sylvanas understands this fact. What Sylvanas says in the opening cutscene for Battle for Azeroth, the battle for Lordaeron, her very first words of dialogue illustrate this.
Ours is a cycle of hatred. Alliances forged and broken. We have paid the price for sharing this world. And we have forgotten what makes us strong.
War. War, of course, is what makes you strong. It always has. And are we really gonna sit here and try to pretend like having Jaina back in the fold, free from her burden? We have Rexxar. We now have Thrall. We have Saurfang. We have a lot of these major characters, very important characters that are being pulled back into the fight, and they are going to be present for what is to come. Another hint, Sylvanas' new data mine dialogue, where she speaks to Nathanos. And Sylvanas says to Nathanos, "Nathanos, the next phase of our campaign is at hand. Sail out with what remains of our fleet. The blade will guide you to the rendezvous. xal'atath. Casualties on both sides will be substantial. Consider this an opportunity to weed out the disloyal. The threads we have woven with such care will soon be drawn together. The war is serving its purpose. Stay focused on the end game. You know what is to come. We have been through so much together, you and I. Trust in me, as I have ever trusted in you." Really? The threads we have woven with such care will soon be drawn together. The war is serving its purpose. What is the purpose of war? As Sylvanas said, we have forgotten what makes us strong. We paid the price for sharing this world. We've paid the price. And we forgot that war is what makes us strong. And while I don't agree with everything that Sylvanas has done, like burning down Teldrassil, it is important to know that in the novellas that you can read for Battle for Azeroth and for specifically for the War of Thorns and the incidents at Darkshore, Sylvanas knows that Elune will intervene at Darkshore. None of this is in the game, though, by the way. Great job on that one, Blizzard. None of this is in the game. But it says in the novella, I believe it's in A Good War, that Sylvanas knew that Elune would intervene at Teldrassil. How did Elune intervene, may you ask? Well, many don't know this, but when Saurfang was commanded by Sylvanas to take out Malfurion. Oh, Malfurion and Tyrande, by the way, two very powerful characters back in the fray as well. Elune actually pacified Saurfang, and he couldn't bring down his axe upon Malfurion's head. Nobody knows that, because it didn't say it in the fucking game. But Sylvanas did know that Elune would intervene. Elune intervened in another way as well, for the elves that didn't make it out of the tree, which we don't really know how many that would be. Elune's light descended upon them and numbed their pain. The night elves that burned in the tree went peacefully. And that's something that Sylvanas anticipated would potentially happen. Doesn't excuse what she did, but was the act enough to get the Alliance to attack Lordaeron and start an all-out war? Yes, it was. Would securing that tree as a garrison would that have been enough to start a war? I don't know that it would have been. Sylvanas wanted this war, and it is serving its purpose. And so let's talk about Saurfang and Thrall. What's with that? Well, if you watch the cinematic, which was fucking primo, by the way, great cinematic, always a fan of those high-res cinematics, looked absolutely wonderful. If you've watched that, you'll know that Saurfang tries to get Thrall to come back.
Do you know what she's done while you've been hiding?
And Thrall says, I'm no one's savior. Thrall is downtrodden. Down for the count, if you will. He's not interested in coming back. And as he says, essentially, no to Saurfang and turns and walks away, in broad fucking daylight, against two of the greatest orc champions in the history of World of Warcraft, two meager undead assassins, not even Dark Rangers, assassins make their move. And they have that nice little V under their eye as well. That's curious. We'll talk about that later. Different video. And this is enough for Saurfang to say again, you and I, we don't get to hide. And that's enough to bring Thrall back. So, what I'm suggesting, considering that Saurfang said that I followed them, what I'm suggesting is that Sylvanas intentionally used those assassins and is continuing to use Saurfang to bait people into this war. And Sylvanas just, I believe, intentionally used those characters to basically pull Thrall back into the fray of the Horde. And is that weakening the Horde? Is that tearing the Horde apart? Fuck no. No, it is not. The only rift Sylvanas is causing is between her and everyone else, not between the Horde. The only reason why it would even be possible to perceive it as a rift among the Horde is because she's the war chief. Who gives a fuck? Garrosh was war chief too, and we beat his ass, didn't we? Do I think that means we're gonna go beat Sylvanas' ass? No. Little do most people know. Apparently not to bullets, but Sylvanas' flesh is nigh indestructible. She is incredibly powerful. She can literally go into an incorporeal form where she turns into smoke and non-physical energy, and can fly around. Like, Sylvanas is pretty powerful. But I do think for sure she is doing this on purpose. Sylvanas could have had Saurfang assassinated easily by now. The whole thing that happened in the Swamp of Sorrows, where after we locate Saurfang, we go back to tell Sylvanas, only to find out that she already knew where he was anyway. How did she know to send assassins to Outland, of all places, to Nogran to find Thrall? It's part of the plan. It's a bait. And it's working. She's bringing these characters back into the fray for whatever is to come. As she says here to Nathanos, stay focused on the end game. You know what is to come. Did you guys know N'Zoth has a data-mined piece of dialogue, I think it might actually be in the game at this point, where he says, I alone can save you from what is to come. I don't know what that is. I don't know what is to come. I don't know. What's Sylvanas' plan for us in Nazjatar? I don't know. Let's listen to these whispers. These come from the eye of the Corruptor. By the way, N'Zoth's title is the Corruptor, according to Hearthstone anyway. It says, listen, 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 listen. You were right to doubt them. The undrowned will join the chorus. Listen to it. Listen. Open the gate. Step into the abyss. Complete the circle. Listen. You know this is the truth. It is but one of 1,000. You have only to listen. Everywhere you look, the stars gaze back. You know their form already. You have but to listen. Listen. She is a threat. Kill her. Kill her. The queen threatens the king. There is no way to win. Listen. The queen threatens the king. Queen Azshara threatening the king? Is that Queen Azshara literally threatening N'Zoth? I don't know. Queen Azshara says that everything we have done has been according to her will, apparently. So everything that's happening in Nazjatar is going according to her plan. There is no way to win. It's almost like the Eye of the Corruptor is warning us. Listen, she is a threat. Kill her. Kill her. I get this weird feeling that given Queen Azshara's striking and kind of unsettling similarities to the Greek goddess Aphrodite, and also to one of the kind of Hera Aphrodite, Isis, kind of scary similarities between Aenar and those goddesses from all different types of mythos. Queen Azshara has some similarities with Aenar as well, and I think those are pretty unsettling too. A little bit controlling, and if you go against her will, according to what happened to Prince Ferondus and his people in Asuna, she can literally sunder your spirit from your body and make you undying, which is kind of a little bit terrifying. So to fuck with Queen Azshara is a little bit sketchy, and how Queen Azshara has not managed to release N'Zoth yet, I don't know. But N'Zoth refers to us as the breaker of chains. Sylvanas says in some of her other data mine dialogue that xal'atath, the blade, will lead us to our destiny. And xal'atath tells us that a grand destiny lies before us. N'Zoth says, I have dreamed your destiny, mortals. It's almost like Sylvanas has an idea of what is coming with Queen Azshara and with N'Zoth, of what is to come. I don't know what that is. I don't know. But do I think that Sylvanas is some super evil character who is just doing things to be evil because evil is fun? No. No. You really think they would do Sylvanas like that, guys? Let's be fucking real here. No way. No way they would do one of the most beloved characters in all of WoW like that. Not a fucking chance. No chance, dudes. But that's the point. It's a ruse. It's a play. It's an act. And it's working. And you don't have to believe me now. I don't blame you if you don't. But you will see. In the end, when death inherits this world, she will be waiting. She is patient. That one. According to Varimathras. When your holy places burn, when your thrones run red with betrayal and the shattered mask hangs above your hearth, only then will you know. And it will be too late. It matters not. You are blind to the true darkness closing in around you. We're blind to what is coming, and N'Zoth has data mine dialogue that says, soon all eyes shall be opened. That which was sunken shall rise. Those that were sleeping shall be awakened. Something really big is coming, guys. And I've been trying to warn you about it for a long, long time. And Sylvanas is a key player in it. And I will remain resolute in the idea that Sylvanas is working for death directly. And by proxy, the Burning Legion. And if you guys didn't know, N'Zoth was working with the Burning Legion. Plenty of evidence to back that one up too. Like, I don't know. The N'Zoth eye in the blade of Sargeras' sword that has existed in almost all of the art ever of Sargeras' sword. Or how about the portfolio of Xavius from Legion, where it says that Xavius, as leader of the Nightmare Satyrs and pawn of N'Zoth, was setting out in Azshara in a conquest to vanquish all who oppose the Burning Legion. Not N'Zoth, not the Nightmare, the Burning Legion. I have an idea that I haven't shared yet. But what's down there at the bottom of the ocean, I don't think is what people think is there. And I don't think N'Zoth is quite what people think either. But we'll have to see. Today I just wanted to talk to you about this Sylvanas situation because you must know it is not going to end like you think it is. It will not. I promise you, personally, I personally promise you that it will not end with a Garrosh 2.0 situation. Not even close. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do drop a like on this video. And as I mentioned at the very start, go and check out the other video that I recorded just yesterday. You might actually like it. And remember, it's an act. It's not real. If you guys did enjoy, please do hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate that. And we're like 20 followers from 15K on Twitch. So if you want to follow me on twitch.tv/Pyromancer, I would certainly appreciate that as well. Much love to you guys that go over there. If you don't know, I do have a Twitter as well and an Instagram where I post more like real life photography and stuff. So if you guys enjoy that type of thing, check out those links in the description below as well. But that's it, guys. That's it. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate you very much. Stay awesome, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace!